should have been an easy win, but I play a little shiesty, and it cost me.
Hi, and welcome to DD Live. I'm your host, Angel Camacho, and here with my esteemed colleague, the one and only Jose, the Perra Guerra.
Fourth time, baby.
Old time for the day one, man.
Yep.
Wow. So eventful week three. There's a lot to unwind. There's a lot to unpack. Playoff pictures getting more clear. Graveyards, it's October. It's kind of the season right now.
They're
Uh,
always there.
they're always there. They're always existing. It's like it's one of those. It's like that neighbor that never takes down the Christmas lights, and it's like Christmas all year long.
It's like,
Some
mama, ¿hasta
teams,
cuándo?
yeah, just graveyarding it from the onset. Some guys they called it from the very beginning. One of the biggest critics of this show, of this person, G. Gerson himself, super critical of teams like the Panthers. Myself, what do you think of his opinions?
Uh, is it me or I feel like in this latest round of I guess the midseason review,
They only
it
did the
wasn't
Boofy
complete.
teams. They only did the Boofy teams.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking forward to kind of reading everything. Obviously, selfishly, I wanted to hear a little bit about how the Falcons are doing and I guess the temperature of the Falcons
Yeah,
according
but you would have had to like it would have had gone to like very deep into there because like you're like because when you start from back to front,
yeah,
you would have been one of the last ones, so that's why they didn't get to you.
yeah,
Or maybe just didn't want to say good things about you.
yeah,
Could be that. Hey, I
probably.
love Gerson, man. I love Gerson.
Oh, I love
That's a
Gerson, bro.
DD
I
vet.
love
I voted for him. I don't understand the animosity he has towards me. But that being said, of course, man, you need to have people like Gerson keeping others honest, giving his honest opinion. Um, and so that's for one. But definitely week three was one for the books. Unfortunately, bad news for the Falcons. Um, just bad news all around. One of your players ineligible, got in trouble with the law. Your captain, horrific news. So you're
yeah, man.
down, you're down a superstar, and you benefited from picking up Mark. Where are we at on that?
So the first game, Stritz can say whatever he wants to say. He was not going to let us pick up a fifth player. So that first game we played four hard. I kind of had a feeling that something was up once Al, wasn't really talking to us in the chat. So I kind of had a feeling something was up. Obviously, I didn't know to what extent, but so we played that first game, four hard because we were already missing Birch, who had let us know that he was going to be missing, week three.
Okay. Okay.
So the team was rightfully so, I guess, a little upset at the circumstances. I think in my opinion, we fought super hard and I think we had a chance. If you ask me, they can say whatever they want as far as on the Jaguars, but if you ask me, we could have easily gotten a point out of that game. We lost 4-2, uh, playing against one of the better teams on paper, right? And at least they're finally starting to show the form that we expected from them going into the season. Then we got lucky and we were able to pick up Mark, who was there at the park. We kind of did what we wanted to do and what we expected to do against, your Panthers, beat them 4-1. And then that last game is completely on me. We were up 2-0, I want to say 3-1, 2-0, and then 3-1 against Raiders. And they came back on us. They made a quick little defensive adjustment, and I don't know if it was just that it was the third game and it felt like we were kind of dying out, but we couldn't really get a stop after those first two stops. And that's kind of just how the game went, and we lost 4-3. But now we pick up True, and I think we got the piece that we needed as far as keeping us very dynamic on offense and keeping us as far as a mismatch problem. In my opinion, I think we are a mismatch problem 1 through 5. outside of myself. And and I think again, now we go back to the real matchups, and that's kind of where my bread and butter, and I've been able to kind of be successful in DD. And just looking forward to week 4, and then obviously week 5.
And obviously someone you have more chemistry with than True, and not going to be in your ear. Give me the ball. Give me the ball. Give me the ball. Let me throw the ball.
Yeah, yeah. Well, actually, I've never played with True.
Okay.
We've never played. We've only played against each other, and I beat him last year when he was on the Chargers. Um, so
To be true.
yeah. No, PD was their quarterback.
Was it
Yeah.
all season? I felt like there was one
Well,
week.
when I played
Okay.
him, PD was their quarterback. They still had PD and Diego in A2. I think it was their original form.
Okay.
But just looking forward to him making plays and being dynamic on offense.
So Falcons, little turmoil, 1 and 2, drop in the standings. Vikings still up there. Jaguars, solid. How do we feel about those teams?
I mean, shoot, now it's the top 6 teams all have 6 wins. So talk about parity. I think that's pretty damn close to parity. 5 teams are 6-2-1, including the Falcons, and then the Jaguars are 6-3. We know the Bengals, Oilers, and Texans, who went 3-0, all have 5 wins. So shoot, even the Giants still have 5 wins. So there's there's a lot of movement that's gonna happen. I think people are gonna
It was a weird week 3. No Chris D
yeah.
for the Giants. They got to win regardless. They lost to the Seahawks 3-4. And then as well, they lost to the Dolphins 4-3. And hold on, but they beat the Lions 4-3.
Yeah.
So, but then you see that's the thing with the Lions. They go fourth. They lose 4-3 to the Giants with no Chris D, but then they play David and the Steelers and they tie 4-4.
DD for you, man. DD, and it really tells you matchups are what they are. And I know we have a guest coming on the show here pretty soon, but his team is kind of getting away with it with a little bending of the rules, and I don't even want to say they're getting away
Oh,
with
well,
it. They're just
no, we're gonna talk about that, and that's one
yeah,
of the main reasons we're bringing him on because we're gonna dive back into your situation with Stritz. We're gonna dive into that situation. I just kind of want to shape up the narrative here. So you have this big group of teams in the upper echelon. Not a lot of trades being done. Not sure a lot of moves can be done. So the only thing that kind of has happened has been that turmoil with the Falcons, and then you having to replace Al with True. So it kind of makes your team a little bit more balanced, I think, going forward on both sides of the ball, as opposed to having Al.
I
Now,
mean, I think so far the biggest storyline of the season has been the Oilers Texans trade. The Texans going 3-0 after the trade, and the New York Oilers, I think, going 2-1 or 1-2, and then in essence being now separated by a single point in a
right,
tie that the Oilers got. So,
8 and 9 there, 8 and 9. Who do you think won that trade?
man,
Or is it one of those instances where both teams won in the transaction?
so I think both teams won
Because I
ultimately.
felt I felt the old look Oilers they had to get ball first and score every drive because there was just no defense there.
Yeah. But then with that, with that being said, I don't know how much defense there is on the New Look Texans, right? Um, so I think it's a matter of both teams got better.
Fun size
I
defense.
I think, now a team where you have Baca, who's an athletic quarterback, Pablito, Carlos, and Suazo with 2 tier 6s, and not that anyone is a slouch, but definitely not 2 like bum tier 6s. That bodes better for like that top 4 than it before, when it was Tronky and Nico throwing to Marley, Pablito, Carlos, and JJ. So I think it really made both teams better as far as what each, I guess, set of players can do as a collective. And I think both teams are definitely a little more well rounded, I would say.
In terms of storylines, Pena to the Packers. How is that? How is that experiment? The Piqui Peña Kevin effect.
I think they went 2-1, if not 3-0.
Packers beat the Ravens, but who hasn't? 4-2. They beat the Eagles and Ant and Peppers 4-2. And
And
then
they lost to the
they lost
Texans.
to Tron
Yeah.
4-2.
So, you know, I know that that's a team. I think much like it was spoken about with the Peña and Piki situation, and then also I guess throwing Robinson for what for whatever reason. I think there's going to be a little bit of disconnect with that team moving forward, much like I feel like you saw in that Texans game when they had a good quarterback be able to really pick out those guys and make him cover or make him pull flags, whatever the case may be, make him communicate on defense. I think when they play a more DD seasoned quarterback that can at least pick on the matchups or at least try to do so, I think that's where they're going to run into issues. I think offensively they're going to be more than fine with just Piki being able to make the plays and then obviously having the safety valve with Pena, not really having a true tier six in Hoodie and Jonathan. So I like that team. I don't want to say they're a piece away, but I think they're maybe one more trade away in terms of maybe just, cutting some of the fat. And I don't know what the fat really is as far as, what Peaky kind of envisions for the final form of the Packers. But I would say they're missing a piece or just kind of restructuring of the team.
I still feel they try to trade a Peña Robinson with one of those sixes to try to just get better.
See,
I think that's what a Kevin Peaky would do.
but the problem is who's taking on, not necessarily who's taking that on, but who
What do you get
really,
back? What do you really get back that's an upgrade?
yeah, or ultimately, what team out there that is in a good spot that is willing to take on Jonathan missing week 5, which is 4 games from that, from those top six, or I would say shoot from those top 10 teams, who is willing to say, okay, I'll take on a Pena and a Jonathan, maybe not all three, but I'll take on a Pena and Jonathan. What are you giving up? Like for example, quick scenario: Chargers, Adrian and Chris are not giving each other up, and Dario's not going to do that. Vikings are not giving up Georgie and or Peanut. Um, Steelers potentially, right? That could be a team potentially since they don't really have a tier 6 in CP, and they don't really have a tier 1 with Shelton, I believe, being their first pick and or Clint. That could be a possible scenario. I don't see the Jaguars breaking up Kurt, Kukuyo, and Ink.
Lot of rumblings in Jags camp.
But that's
Typical Strits.
typical Stritz team. I don't think Nico makes a move like that. So I don't really see really anyone other than the Steelers potentially making a trade for something like a Pena and Jonathan, because those bottom the rest I would even say pretty much from 9 all the way to probably like 15, whoever who's on the second page that still has a shot. Yeah, 15. The Raiders technically still have a shot. Um, and the Raiders are not going to trade back for Pena. So I don't see anyone else being willing to take that gamble with, Jonathan Novoa missing week 5 and the week 5 being so crucial in terms of potentially getting a bye or getting ball first every time you play. Like those things matter in playoffs.
Bigger drop off, Eagles or 49ers? 49ers didn't have Jordan's brother.
Yeah, 49ers were going 5 hard. Um, I know the Eagles had 2 tough games just right off the bat. They got dominated by the Bengals. I'm
4-1.
gonna I'm gonna have to say the Eagles, man, because it felt like those 3 games that they played a team that we kind of expected to be good. The Bengals 4-1, the Packers 4-2, the Texans 4-2, and then they did what they were supposed to do with the Lions, beating them 4-2 the week prior. But 0-3 week, you played 3 good teams and you couldn't, I guess, get a point out of that week. That's a big L. That's definitely a bigger drop off in my opinion. Um, because I think Ant is, arguably the best player in DD right now, all around. In my opinion, if not one, definitely two.
Safe to say.
So that's just is like we've been talking about. It feels like forever. It's tough to see a player of that caliber continue to struggle and not necessarily really get too close to a star yet.
Teams we don't talk about. Which one's worse? Bucks or Patriots?
Who is worse or what is worse?
What is worse?
As far as why are we not talking about him?
Why are we not talking about him? Because I think for one, Patriots, everyone was down on them from the very onset. And it's kind of just been very much that, just like the Panthers, like the Lions. But the Bucks,
I mean,
like
I will
Devin,
definitely the Bucks. The fact that we haven't barely touched on the Bucks, I think
like
is
I had to think long and hard if Devin was playing this season,
yeah. I mean, I haven't heard him screaming a lot, as far as celebrating or anything like that. Um,
right? Makes you think.
excuse me. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, you look at this, this past week, they lose 4-3 to the Steelers, beat the Dolphins 4-3, and then tied the Vikings 3-3. Um, yeah, just very, very middle of the road, right? Exactly pretty much what the record says.
Four wins, four
One,
losses, one tie, -1 PD.
just very even.
Fringe playoff team.
Yeah, can come in, blow you out, can come in, get blown out. So
Sounds like a good time, right?
yeah, it sounds like a great time. I I know they've been trying to make a couple moves now that I'm in the captain's chat. But just not a lot of value as far as what you really like to trade in terms of like, yes, obviously they have, in my opinion, a pretty damn good roster top to bottom, but not necessarily those desirable pieces that people are willing to trade for or take a small L in a trade because they feel like they're getting better somewhere else. So that's kind of where it's at. I think, in my opinion, and I think it also has to do with kind of the the changes that we've been seeing in some of these bottom teams as far as captains, and then a lot of people dropping due to injuries and whatnot. There's I guess a little bit of uncertainty as far as what you're getting if you're trading for someone, or what you're getting as far as conversation if you're trying to talk to another captain,
Right.
as far as what they perceive as valuable, and vice versa. So I think that's why you haven't seen a lot of trades, and I think that's why, in my opinion, that team is definitely one trade away. Um, but just don't know if there's a trade out there to be made.
Okay. I think that's fair. I think that's fair. I think that at this juncture, everyone's kind of just holding on to that last second to see what can be the move that's going to be made that's going to ricochet into multiple things happening. But that being said, we are going to bring on our guest host for this show today, and it's none other than the Golden Boy himself. I want everyone to give a proud welcome and a loud one to Nico.
And then, bro,
My
pretend like
guy.
you want to be here, bro.
Yeah,
So,
no.
fellas,
Tell them that they tell the gentleman there that they could go home. They could put the guns down. Okay.
I'm sweating out a fantasy game right now.
Oh, is there a pot? Is there a pot? A weekly pot? Does that league have a weekly pot
It's not, but it's a guillotine league. So if you're the lowest scorer, you are out
of the?
of the league.
For
So
the season.
every week, the lowest scorer gets eliminated. And my team had Ricky Pearsall out and Bijan on bye. So not doing great right now.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah,
It looks like the Bengals.
yeah.
So speaking of which, let's go a little bit into the Bengals. How's this season going for you? You've been in, you've been out. Rodgers hurt. Give us a little synopsis there of Bengals camp.
You know what?
Uh,
5-2 yourself?
Myself, I am
Yeah, 5-2.
five.
The,
No, I'm five.
the,
I'm 5-1. I'm 5-1.
and the team's 5-3-1.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Yep. We are, I mean, it's interesting. The season is pretty like everyone's like piled up at the top. Like the 2 games separates
Top
everybody.
top top five teams have 19 points. Number six has 18, and then from 7 to 10 is 16-15.
Yep. So I think that's pretty interesting for the season. I think Bengals camp feels good, man. I feel like we have mismatches everywhere. We have a good feel for the team. Everyone's getting along great. Everyone's playing their role, so I can't complain, man.
Not
Do you feel you're circumventing the rules? Do you
In
feel
what regard?
with Roger?
and the
Uh,
matchups.
I think that this team hasn't shown fully what it is until Roger's back because we don't know how we're going to play with him on the field. Like, in all honesty, we've played two whole plays of the team together.
Right, but the question is, do you feel that you're cheating the system with what you're doing with Roger?
No, because there's a rule in place to penalize if teams want to take it. I mean, Stritz had to take the penalty to beat us. In the two drives he didn't take the penalty, he didn't score. I mean, it took me being an idiot not scoring on two drives for him to give him an extra two drives to win. But without that penalty, he doesn't win that game. I'll tell you that much.
Do you guys think that the rules should be changed?
I understand why it's in place. I'll tell you that much. I don't know if it should be changed because it had to be changed mid-season because of like what was about to happen. It's never been stated before this season. No one's ever tried doing this before.
Right.
And in all honesty, like we're abiding by someone who paid their $165 into the league just like everybody else. We're giving him a chance to play.
I get that sentiment, right? But I guess to play devil's advocate from someone that maximizes rotations and the mismatches, I guess to quote Andrew, are you guys kind of circumventing the rules somewhat, right?
But I
But
think that's combated by the rule that's in place to
and
combat that rule.
granted, but there's a difference because that rule is more for like, hey, I'm actually out, you know, I'm gonna miss a week. I just don't want my stock to drop or whatever. Like there's a little bit more strategy behind it, and that's why that rule was initially made because there was a lot of tier sixes that weren't
Because it
out.
was more of a pre-draft thing.
Yeah,
Right. Correct.
this in this scenario, I mean, shoot, there isn't a lot of tier sixes, or I can't remember of a single tier six that got hurt and it said, no, I'm gonna get healthy. I'm gonna wait two,
Right.
3 weeks, however long it takes. Um, so again, I'm not necessarily saying that you guys are cheating because again, I don't think you are per se. I just think you're obviously taking a very advantageous position, and I think Rogers playing into that
Yep.
because
I agree with that.
we know that Rogers not going to drop or doesn't
Yep.
want to drop, whatever the case may be. But I think in this scenario, you can't necessarily change the rule and make it, for example, harsher because I think it should be somewhat harsher because again, you guys are deliberately doing this
Right.
in this scenario. But I think it's just a one off and it's never happened before. And I mean, I'm sure if and when it happens again, obviously we'll have some history to go off of, and I guess adjustments to the rule will be made at that point. But I think for now it's fine. I just I would say that Roger needs to play or just drop, and I get it.
He's playing this week. He's playing this
playing
week.
this week. Okay,
Yeah. It was just that one week. He came to me and he was like, dude, if you give me week 3, I'll be healthy enough, like 90% by week 4. So I was like, bro, take it. It helped us, in all honesty, that the Panthers, Angel was also hurt, so he didn't play, so we were open that game, so the penalty wasn't affected. The Saints were missing Jordan's brother, so we weren't affected by it. And Ant didn't take the penalty. So, I mean, it helped us in that regard. It ended up working out, but it could have also went the other way because if Jordan's brother's there, now how does that game look? And I'm fully aware of that, but at the same time, I trust my team, and I think I have a good enough team to beat those teams with going 5 on the best 5,
yeah.
per se.
Now we flipped the script. Was Pera treated unfairly because he didn't have Al and he had to go and Birch was out and then Stritz made him go with 4?
Uh,
No, I wouldn't say so.
But Angel, just in all honesty, like how does Berra know? Like Al could have shown up. Like obviously we know the scenario, but what if Al showed up mid-game or after the second rotation? You didn't know at that point that Al was going to be out like that.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I don't think it was. I don't think our situation was handled wrong in any way. Obviously, wrong is the end result of what happened. Obviously, we don't want that to happen ever to any one of us.
Mm.
But
Because
I got lucky.
it's happened to me and coincidentally against Stritz. Patterson was out that week, and David didn't wake up, and I had to go four hard. I had to go four hard. I couldn't even get a replacement. So
I feel like
I
there's a common denominator here, and all three is
Oh,
very
I mean, we know that. We know that. Everyone knows that. Listen, I am a firm. I don't think my stance on this will ever change. The rules are there. If especially week 3 of the season. If it's week 5, it's a different story. It's a different story. Or if it's week 1, but at no single point ever in my DD career would I give away a potential free win. That's just not going to happen. Call it whatever you want to call it. Until you're in that position and you have to make the decision for yourself, I don't want to hear your opinion.
I didn't let Ernie play a couple seasons ago. I was like, dude,
Trust me, everyone says the same thing until they're in that
I
position.
ended up, because Ernie did not play, I got the 1 seed, which he ended up ironically being on my team for that run. And without the 1 seed, I don't know if we win those games.
So that goes to the point. I don't think it was handled incorrectly in any way. I don't think anyone did anything malicious. I think it was just that's the cards that we were dealt, and those are the cards we played, and it is what it is.
Trevor Lawrence is an idiot.
Now, question: biggest disappointment of this season so far, Nico?
Bro, it has to be my boy AJ, man. What is this?
Right? They don't even
But-
and I don't feel like they're getting enough stick though.
I agree. That's a really good point, Angel.
Because the Panthers get way more stick than the Ravens, and AJ's coming off a star.
And AJ had a top 5 pick.
But I would say this, right? So on that same side of the argument, why aren't the Dolphins and Lewis a big disappointment, and why are they flying under the radar as well?
So I'll combat that by this. I'll say that I think I told Lewis this pre-draft. I think he drafted bad pre-draft already. So I didn't think highly of that team. What I thought highly about was Lewis and Johan. I didn't think highly of the team. That's what I'll say.
Yeah.
But I thought AJ coming off a star, top 5 pick, him and Johan has the chemistry. Bro, correct me if I'm wrong. Do they have a win?
Yeah,
No.
The Dolphins.
No, they don't.
Have one
No,
win.
no. The Ravens. The Ravens
The
are.
Ravens.
The Ravens have no wins.
Yeah, bro. That's
But again, Johan being sick as a dog week 1, unfortunate.
yep.
Him having to drop right before week 2, unfortunate. Then that replacement having to drop as well after, like, it's been a very bad season for AJ. But I don't necessarily think that is disappointment. They're that big of a disappointment given all the situations that they've been dealing with. I would say the Lions to me are the biggest disappointment. Willie talking everything that he said and saying everything that he said and this and that and the other. In my opinion, I think not necessarily they got an upgrade, but I think they got a better fit for that team, picking up Isaiah over Store. They just haven't been able to put it together, and I think that's a bigger disappointment. Because again, that team, Michael Castellanos, barely a tier 6, if at all. Eric is a problem. Isaiah is a really good quarterback. Again, defensively, it is what it is. That's not what we're here for. I think for the fit of that team.
But they still got like legs,
But that's what I'm saying. Picking up Isaiah to me was a really good pickup because Willie at quarterback was never going to be the answer, even with Store. Store wasn't going to make a difference. So I think to me that's the biggest disappointment. Just looking at the second page.
So before the season started, you would have said that the Lions were a better team on paper than the Ravens?
Yeah.
Okay.
With Isaiah, yeah.
I'll disagree there. But
no. Everyone was really high on the Ravens. Johan coming off the, and the Ravens had a really good team starting off. We were high on the Ravens.
Yes, but they still had a lot of unanswered questions to me. Alex Navarro,
that was the problem with the Ravens. It didn't feel like an AJ team on the back end, not back end, middle tiers. But I just thought that AJ and Phil playing with Johan would be enough to lift them to
but you still have Serge, Alex. Like there was still too many questions.
There was a lot of weight on the back end, especially with Johan having to play defense.
Exactly. And I think at the very start of it, I like on paper the Lions over the Ravens.
especially
That's
athletically.
also, Angel, that's a good point you brought up. Johan last year was drafted 44, I believe, and he was the fourth best defender. Now you take him 35 and he's the third best defender. So that does make a huge difference also.
Now,
Again, because you're replacing Forrest
With Alex Navarro.
with Alex Navarro,
Yeah.
big, and then Jeff and Serge. Although
Same.
I would say
Yeah.
they're very comparable for that team. It's Jeff outweighs Serge because Jeff wasn't going to Johan, give me the ball, do this, do that. Like
Yeah. Okay. I
Serge is
get
more
it. Fit
bold.
wise, player to watch.
Yeah.
now after this past week, Steelers they tie the Lions, so they kind of stay where they're at. The Packers they lose to the Texans in Tronky, so they stay kind of where they're at. We'll get to Tronky eventually. But so Packers, Steelers are there. Falcons obviously have their troubles. They go 1-2, they come down. Vikings, they're still there.
Steady. Steady, should I say.
And the Chargers make that jump to 1.
I don't know how that team's the first,
What
the number one.
so that's the first thing I want to talk about. Not enough is being said about Dario and the Chargers because Dario gets made fun of for getting abused by Joan in trades, maybe not being the best captain in handling player personnel, always picking his buddies, kind of putting himself in bad situations with teams where it's kind of he's getting screamed at. We talked about this on the last show he seems more comfortable and he's enjoying his surroundings and he's enjoying his football. But even though as much as I love the Martinez brothers and this show has been a fan of them except for Perra talks crap about them all the time. I always talk amazing about them. But we did not have the Chargers nowhere near the top of the standings. So kudos to Dario, kudos to the Chargers. But are they fake or are they real? What do you guys think?
You or me.
It's
Bro, I think, okay. I think they're a real regular season team.
Okay.
I think that team has and if this gets clicked, bro, and Chris comes back, if they win a star,
oh, he's gonna do that because he's a
hey, look,
crybaby.
it's my boy. I'll take it on the chin. That team has a 0.00001% chance of winning a star.
Oh.
I think they
Could have
close
left
out.
that for bold predictions, but okay, keep
I
going.
think they close out the regular season strong, bro. There's numbers don't lie. Dario's having a great year. Adrian Martinez is having a great year. Chris is underperforming, but Chris is playing his role, being the decoy. He's rushing. Byron's having a great year. That team on paper is doing well, but that team come to win a star, no. Against the Vikings, they were up three. They were tied 3-3 at the 6 yard line or 4 yard line to win the game. Take a guess who Dario threw the ball to.
Serge.
Yeah, that team ain't winning a star.
So this is what I'll say about the Chargers, right? I'm gonna give you they're 6-2-1 so far, right?
Mhm.
Beat the Panthers without Angel 4-1. Lost to the Vikings 4-3. Beat the New Look Oilers 3-2. Beat the 49ers 4-0. I'm assuming they were missing somebody. Yeah, that was last week. So they were missing Elliott. Beat the
We're
Raiders.
missing Jordan's brother. Yep.
Yeah, Elliott. Beat the Raiders when they still had Pena. Lost to the Eagles. Tied the Packers without Kevin in week 1. Beat the Patriots 4-3 and beat the Texans with Baca 4-2.
Oh, you're calling them frauds.
Who have they played?
Do you know what it's very reminiscent of, by the way? My Texans team last season.
Oh, yeah, when you guys played nobody for like.
With that being said, this week, I don't think their schedule gets that much harder. They play the Seahawks. G has a cast. Devin and the Bucks have been.
No Georgie.
Well, there you go. And then they play the Lions. So I'm expecting another 3-0 week or 2-1. And I know the only person that gets butthurt on that team is Chris Martinez. Don't really care. But it is what it is. They've
You've been called out.
They've played the schedule that's in front of them, and they've done what they're supposed to.
I agree.
Now, are they a team that I can say, you know what, I think they have a deep playoff run in them? No, I don't think so. I think that roster is very damn good. I think Byron is playing out of his mind. I
Yeah.
ref one of their game last week. He's playing out of his mind at everything. Corner, rushing,
Yeah, he's good.
deep routes. He's playing
I
out of
love
his mind.
Byron. I love Byron.
But I gotta see it. I gotta see it in the playoffs. And it is what it is. There's nothing else around it. I haven't seen Dario do it in the playoffs. And I want to see that team hit a little bit of turmoil come playoff and see how they react.
I want to see another thing you mentioned Dario reacting. I want to see how quick Chris is to take the ball out of Dario's hands come that playoff time.
That's
Because it
why
hasn't happened
I
yet
want to
because
see them
it's like,
struggle.
yeah.
If they go through it in the season and they come out the other side, now I can look at them differently going into the playoffs. But I feel like they haven't gone through that yet.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen Dario perform in the playoffs ever. So I need to see it. So all it is.
Now, Vikings. What's so special about this team? Because one week we love them, the next week, the next week, hey, they're still there. They're still in the top.
Scrappy as heck.
Yep. I play them this week. I think it's gonna be a good game, man. That top end is balling. Peanut and Georgie are balling. Jamel, I don't know his whole thing yet.
He's feast or famine. Feast or famine.
Okay.
I've seen him play enough that I've seen him make a couple plays, and I'm like, oh, damn, that guy's a problem. But then I've also seen him drop a wide open ball that hits him in the face.
Yeah.
He does the
right.
So like that team is very feast or famine. They've done a lot more feasting so far this season, but I just love
But I think they're a steady
greediness.
team. I think you could bank on them being towards the top end, and I think they're going to continue being consistent. Georgie and Peanut's obviously a problem, and I think that if Raymond continues this up, they'll be a good top 4, top 5 seed. I think that's what they are.
Okay. Now, Nico, you were out for a week. Okay.
Yep.
And and that's sort of a big no-no in the world of what we're going to talk about right now, MVPs. This season, through 3 weeks, can we really say there's an MVP? Will this be the season that we're okay with someone that missed a week winning an MVP? Or are there players like a Georgie Kakulo that are, they're kind of in front of everyone because their team is doing good and they're so good at the position? Because I just don't see a quarterback being dominant. I don't see a captain completely being dominant. What are your guys' thoughts?
So I think that if you would have asked me this before last week, I would have said Ant is probably the front runner going into last week, and then he pissed that away. And I love him to death, but I'll tell him that to his face. And I think I agree with you. I think I'm gonna still have a hard time because Beaky has good numbers, Donkey has good numbers, Berra has good numbers that are all at the top. Georgie has really good numbers, so I think that's where the route I would take. I don't know if it's a season where an MVP wins missing a week, aka me, but I think it could be a receiver season because Georgie's numbers are ridiculous.
Yeah, I think you have to you have to compare him to Montano.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going.
I think that's the last time we had a receiver. I think that's the last time we had a receiver MVP.
Yeah.
Or AJ was MVP?
No, he was offensive player and best tier 1 or something like that.
But I think Dario's just because I'm like, before I talk, let me confirm. I think it's Dario's MVP to lose. Whoa. He is 29-1. He has 13 flag pulls, 3 receiving rushing touchdowns, and 1 pick on defense.
Can you read me Beaky's
And that was a pick 6.
Forget what it was. He has a pick. He has 3 rushing and receiving, which obviously we know one of those. A 29-1 INT, and he has 13 flag pulls.
What's Beaky's stats?
Beaky right now is 29-3, 10 flag pulls, 2 picks.
Yeah,
neck and neck, Dario and Beaky. Wow, you didn't on your bingo card for season 22.
I know Tronky is leading the league in tutty passes. I'm pretty sure Georgie and Tronky are the other 2 I'm wondering about.
I think Tronky for now is still out because he's 31-4, but he only has 4 flag pulls. That's it.
Okay, Georgie Casculo is the last one I'm curious about. But that's it.
Georgie
million catches,
49, 27 flags, 3 passing touchdowns. I don't know about that. 12 touchdowns and 2 picks. I don't think the touchdowns are there. He needs a little bit more touchdowns, in my
Is it
opinion.
12?
Yeah.
Only 12.
Yeah, it has to be
So
more.
I would say right now
Yeah, an
it's
MVP by this point would have 20.
Yeah.
at least 15, 16, something around there. I think 12, and especially on a team that has already scored.
Oh, but hold on. Didn't Turi have like 27 touchdowns one season?
But John had 60 tutties.
Yeah, I know, but like going into the last 2 weeks, 7 games left,
Think
one
about it. He's not even accounting for half of his team's touchdowns. They've scored 30 points. He only has 12 himself. Yes, if you want to throw in the touchdowns that he's thrown, but I mean, I don't know about all that. Georgia throwing the balls. I
Yeah,
don't know
no, and
about that.
Peanut takes a lot of
A lot of
protection
handoffs.
in the way.
So
But
I would say right now it's a 2-man race. I'd say Dario, and then I'd say speaking.
Wow. That's
wow,
gonna get clipped. That's
and
gonna get clipped.
pissed away that
Dario's
MVP.
gonna
Yeah, I
pleasure
mean,
himself
listen.
for a
I
second.
obviously I still think David has a shot. He's in the
There's
running.
plenty of football to be played. We're just talking about that at this juncture. We're trying to find storylines. Biggest storyline right now has been, captains wanting to get traded out of their teams and quitting. You have the Texans and Oilers trade with Tronky and Baca switching teams. Then you've had this captains going down, Al Falcons getting true. So we have a couple narratives. Then you build into the fact that there's really no clear cut MVP in front. We got a couple names tossed out. Same thing with the teams. There isn't no one really clear front. You have 6, 7 teams right there. 12 teams make it into the playoffs. Top 4 get the buys. Right now, as it stands, if the playoffs were to start today, be Chargers 1, Vikings 2, Falcons 3, Packers 4. Last team in is the Buccaneers. But under this same metric, you still got the Seahawks inside, you got the Giants inside, and I think that those two teams, along with the Bucks, could really have the wheels come off and fall out because I think teams like the Eagles and,
Would
and the Niners are more equipped to make the playoffs.
wouldn't this be some crazy shit? Because those 3 teams that you mentioned, Giants going 5 hard, missing legs. Seahawks going 5 hard, missing a player that they're missing. I'm not gonna divulge that information. The Bucks missing their captain. So wouldn't
Oh,
it be crazy to see the Raiders and Ace sneak into that last playoff spot? That would make a hell of a storyline, in my opinion. A hell of a storyline.
really
And
good.
and I don't understand, like, so Ace buckles his knee first game, goes 2-1, could have potentially gone 3-0, and his team is in turmoil, wanting him to drop and everything. Like, there's no loyalty or love in this league.
That's TD, baby.
That's crazy. Ace is
Except for
doing
the
it on
except
one
for the
leg.
Bengals. Except for the Bengals going 5 hard last week.
All right, next
Yeah,
topic.
yeah. Well, no, well, we gave Roger his love. 0-2-1. That was
Bro, that
a
was
We
Hall of,
huge.
did. We
that's a
did.
Hall of Fame
Let,
performance.
let me put it to you this way. If the Bengals are 6-2-1, we're tied for first
That was a Hall of Fame
because of that
performance.
tie.
That goes on his resume. That goes on Roger Tomas's resume.
That's a line item.
Yeah, yeah.
He should make it. He should make it a line in Miguelito. The 0-2-1.
The ultra one
That
for
should
sure.
be that should be the breakfast of champions.
Hey, Roger, just
2-1.
saying we want at least what royalties for the next 18 months.
No,
You're
no,
welcome.
I don't understand how I don't have a DD Life sandwich or something there. We know what I eat. Pan con mantequilla, like dos croquetas de jamón, and I eat on bed. That should be the DD Live. I don't understand why the guy sponsored this show and still hasn't. You take that back to Bengals camp, Nico. You let him know.
Done.
So, now we talked about teams that could come in and teams that could fall out. What teams do you think are poised for that top 4? Because by what you guys are talking about, Chargers sounds like you guys feel like Chargers could fall out at top 4. I think Vikings have shown that they're there to stay in the top 4, and I think the Packers are there to stay in the top 4. But then you have Steelers at 19 points, Jaguars 18 points, Bengals 16 points, Oilers 16 points, Texans 15 points. Those are very, very good teams with a lot of football left. I do we think 2 teams fall off, 1 team falls off? What do you think the top 4 should looking like going into week 4?
You mean
Top
after
four in
week
the
four?
standings or
Yeah,
top
after
four
week,
in the
yeah, after
power
week
ranking?
4, after this week when the dust is settled, who do you think is
Well,
going to be top?
after Perra said the Charger schedule, I think they'll stay there.
Yeah.
That's Vikings, I think consistent. I haven't seen their schedule, but I know we play them. But let's say the other two are easy games, 2-1. Packers, I think the top four could say the same, honestly.
Yeah,
Perra, I don't know your schedule, but
yeah, I mean, I would be. I'm not gonna say I would be shocked, but I would be. I don't see that top four changing.
me
If you
either.
want to be honest with you, you
The
know.
Vikings play the Dolphins and the Seahawks on top of the Bengals, so they could eat back up into a 2-1 week easily.
Yeah. I mean, the Falcons. I play the Ravens. I play the Dolphins, and I play the Eagles.
Two and
Uh,
one, 2-1, 3-0.
So
you know,
so
so
so in that makes so if everything plays according to plan, according to the script, according to what we expect, then that final
week
week is
five is gonna
that
be
final
mayhem.
week that
Yeah.
final week is going to be mayhem.
Mm-hmm.
Because if everything keeps progressing as it is, and we're just pushing this to the final week, and we're gonna have all these teams stacked for 4 games, and so much can transpire where you lose a bye, and then that's huge because you have to play that extra game, and then you might get one of these teams they're coming in late into the playoffs and get hot, and you lose to Ace in the first round just because you didn't get the bye.
Yep.
That's that's intense.
But this is good for DD. This is really good for DD.
Now, do you feel any transactions, any trades are going to happen before the end of the week? I think we're locked.
I think we're locked, bro.
I mean, I there's a couple trades out there to be made. If you ask me, um,
Well, it's obvious. Packers are a trade away. We feel that the Packers are a trade away from cementing the star and printing it on their shirt.
I would say the Steelers are in that same boat as well. I think they're I think they're closer than the Packers, but they're still a piece away. Um, but yeah, I mean, besides that, I mean, I'm sure Nico's getting offers, but I don't think anything's enticing enough.
Honestly, I haven't. This is the first season I haven't got much, to be honest.
You know, I don't see the Vikings and Georgie trading.
Me either.
If I'm the Chargers, I wouldn't trade unless you're getting significantly better at one position, which I don't necessarily think there's a trade out there for them at
Mhm.
this stat. Yeah, man, I honestly think I'm sure there'll be some edging here and there. You know, I could very easily see the Seahawks, the Buccaneers, the Giants trying to make a trade. Um, but you're really just talking about making a trade to get in one of those last two playoff spots. I
Mhm.
think the top, if everything stays as far as no injuries and whatnot, I think the top nine is locked. What order to be determined, but I think the top nine is locked.
I think it's a fair assessment. I think yeah, those last 3 spots to get in are, and I really think the Eagles get in. I think the Eagles automatically get in, and one of those 10 to 12 teams, Giants, Seahawks, Buccaneers, they're going to lose their spot. Most probably the Seahawks, I would say, would be the easiest one to
Or
discount
the
out.
Bucks. The Bucks missing Georgie.
One of those 2 teams, I think the Eagles come in, and just how the 49ers got hot at the beginning, I feel like they could get hot at the end, and then one of these teams could bounce out.
Yeah.
So I feel that that's fair there. Now, how it all boils down to who gets the buys and then the matchups, that's what makes the playoffs the playoffs. But a lot to look at going into the final week. Now, let's look at these games of the week. First one, bright and early, 8 a.m. Bengals, Packers. Nico, Beaky. Better, what you got? You on mute, or is it me?
No, I was on mute. I was on mute. Packers, Bengals. Man, that's a tough one because
The thing is, we're always picking a Nico team, and no offense to you, Nico. I mean to your team, is that I feel like you always have a team of misfits
I
that,
love it.
that make no sense, but then you're like the little engine that could, and
um
you always do. So it's like it's like betting against Michael Vick, and you never want to do that.
Yeah, what the
Because I want to say Packers 4-3.
No, I'm gonna say Bengals 4-3, and I'm saying the Bengals because the Packers have shown that they can show up late.
Oh, that's right. Beaky getting there late. They've done that.
Iki, Hoodie, uh,
They do.
Kevin's
Yeah.
probably never late, but Pena, Robinson, there's a lot of variables there.
Eesh. Yeah,
So
but D Live is gonna come out before.
hell?
So it's kind of like a catch 22, bro.
yeah, but
Yeah.
then if they watch Stock Up, Stock
Because
Down and they talk good about them, they'll show up late. So
that's true. Yeah, but if
it,
I say it, they're gonna be looking in the mirror like Angel said. I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna be there. No, I got Packers 4-3.
I got Bengals 4-3.
Bengals 4-3.
I was about to say 5-3. Okay, bro. Okay.
Roger 4 tutties.
Yeah, that's
No
not
JD
fucking
back.
happening.
Leave that for bold predictions. All right, Steelers, Giants, 8 a.m. Chris D versus Big D. David. You like that one, Big D?
Um, I'm gonna have to go with a team that's going full roster versus somebody missing a key piece.
Oh,
I'm gonna have to go Steelers 4-2.
yep, Steelers. Steelers for me.
I got Steelers
4-2.
4-1 for the Smurf.
Oilers, Bengals. Baca, Nico, Paulito
So this is the
screaming
only time I'm going to address this game.
top of his lungs.
I I will be shocked if Pablito does anything, but I'm not covering him. I'm just going to cover that little Mexican because he's the only one that's doing anything over there. But I need to make that little Mexican my son this weekend.
So what's the score?
4-2 Bengals.
Oh man, that's so bad. That's so
Uh,
bad. They got a Labubu and a Mexican.
Like it pains me. Like Carlos and I rarely play football against each other, but it pains me I can't scream at him this weekend on the same field.
They're not gonna let you back in the Mojo chat.
Like Carlos is not
I
going to pass this weekend. Like that game, Carlos will literally, and they're playing 5 hard, so Roger's not playing. Um, Carlos will not catch a pass this weekend. He's showing up for nothing for that game.
Okay. I'm going Bengals 4-3.
yeah, I'm going Bengals 4-2.
Okay. But Carlos is gonna get catches. Jaguars, Texans.
Um,
Ooh, this is a good game.
I just think the Jaguars have too much offensively for I think a lackluster defense, in my opinion, in the Texans. So I'm gonna go Jaguars 4-3.
Nico.
I think Texans. I'm going to ride the hot hand. I'll go Texans 4-3.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Texans 4-3. No, I'm not gonna doubt Tronky. I think
Stritz is always good for a 2-1. Stritz is like the definition of 2-1 weeks.
they pissed off Tronky. So I'm gonna go with the upset Godito.
Yep.
I expect a lot of boom boom booms. A lot of boom boom booms. All right, gentlemen. Well, that wraps up games of the week. Now we're gonna head into everyone's favorite segment where we hit 3% of the times all the time. Ball predictions. Talk to me. Nico.
Nico.
I'm not pulling up the schedule, so better go first.
I'm gonna go bold here because this is exactly what the segment is called. I'm gonna go. Let me just confirm their schedule real quick.
No, I don't like that either.
Fuck. I'm gonna go Raiders. Go 2-1.
Who's their loss?
I'm gonna say Tronky and the Texans.
Yeah, because I'm looking at Tronky. I got Texans going 3-0.
Wow.
They Panthers, Raiders, Jaguars, and you know what? Because I love parlaying them, I'm gonna parlay it with a Steelers 3-0. I got Texans and Steelers both going 3-0 this weekend.
I was thinking of the Steelers one.
I got Texans. I got Texans and Steelers going 3-0. That's a DD live exclusive. Plus 1,500.
Let me see something. I think I got mine.
It's on the Hard Rock app. Under popular.
Same game parlay.
The exclusives. Yeah, you have to hit the box.
Oh fuck. No, that's asinine.
But is it bold?
It's bold.
But not like $7 wine.
Yeah, it's just asinine. I'm sorry for the delay, but I thought I found one, but
Yeah, I was about to go crazy bold, but
yeah.
I'm gonna piss off some people that have soft
Well,
hearts.
my bold prediction is going to be for you guys to have a prediction.
Is Seahawks 0-3 not bold enough?
Nah.
No, we're expecting that.
Okay.
I mean, bro, after the shit that you've been saying so far, I need something bold.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be bold, but them losing to the Lions wouldn't surprise me either.
Over under Roger Tomas touchdowns 2.5. Over or under?
Over.
Over?
Over. Their schedule is easy, but 49ers 3-0. I like that one.
All right.
If David wasn't playing the Giants, I'd say David 0-3, but I'll say Steelers 1-2. I think they dropped the last two games against the 49ers and the Eagles.
Damn.
That's what I think.
You might as well finish it off and say they go 0-3.
Yeah,
Nah, they'll beat the Giants.
Just put the whole thing in already. At this point.
Nah. Yeah, they'll beat the Giants. But yeah, David goes 1-2. David goes 1-2.
Wow. Okay.
I think Jordan's going to come in with a fire under him. I think he has an easy schedule. He knows the one game he has to win is the Steelers game. And I think that Jordan 3-0 and David 1-2 parlay makes good money.
All right, gentlemen. I think we had a good show. We talked about the league, talked about the disappointments, the lack of trades. Well, got to throw in there the DDPA is doing an amazing job because all the trash everyone's talked about, we've navigated through all the circumstances. Fantastic job. Hope everyone has an amazing week. Thank you, Nico, for coming on. Before we get off, want to bring love to this show's sponsor, and it's PK Realty and Kevin. That's why we give the Packers all the love that we can. Thank you, Kevin, for sponsoring this great show. You're one of the best. You guys need a house. He'll sell you the right one. He'll sell you the right one. And trust me, he's selling homes and packaging homes, and he's trying to find homes for people in Packers camp.
Here's Eddie.
Hey, I just want to put it out there. Peña, you're not safe. Take that piece of information however you want.
Yeah.
But hope you watch the show Thursday, bright and early, and you get to work. You're gonna have about 36 hours after that to make a move. So get to it. Get them before they get you, buddy.
Yeah, that's how DD works. All right, guys, we appreciate you tuning in. Love you guys. Go ball out week 4. We'll next show we'll talk about who should be winning their best tiers, who should be MVP, playoff picture, all that stuff and more. We love you guys. Like, comment, subscribe. DD is life. Love you. Thank you for tuning in. Peace.
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah! Oh! It should have been an easy win, but you know I play a little Sxii, and it cost me.